Hi guys, it's April Janae here, or formerly known as Sensibly Curly here on YouTube. I wanted to give you all an update and kind of let you guys know what's been going on in my life and why I've been gone from YouTube so long. And also to just say welcome back. This is my comeback to YouTube. I am back. I'm going to be filming lots of YouTube videos. I've already been filming videos for you guys over the past like 2 years, but I just never really had it in me to edit and post them. I've just been going through a lot in my life, and that's why I wanted to bring you all this video before I start getting back into all of my home decor and like dupes videos and stuff like that. Because I just want to kind of like share what's been going on, and maybe some people out there can relate and can benefit from this video. This video is all about how I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and it's something that I've been more actively, I guess, dealing with over the past year. I first kind of had like a relapse back in May of last year, and before that I would say I was very like fatigued, tired a lot, and so I didn't really know why. I thought maybe it was just because, you know, I was a new mom, and my husband and we moved away from family and friends, so we were kind of on our own with that. And so I just figured it was like just, you know, being tired as a mom, and I was working full-time and also taking care of my little one full-time at home, so working from home with her and raising her as a newborn up until, well, she's about to be 2 now, so it's been 2 years, and like breastfeeding, not getting a lot of sleep at night, all of that. So in my head I'm thinking, yeah, you know, I'm just fatigued and tired, that's what comes with the territory, you know, until in May I felt like I was coming down with a very, very bad cold or flu or something like that, and I was getting intense migraines, headaches, like it almost felt like it did feel like electrical shocks or a stabbing in my brain. That's the best way I could describe it, and honestly, I'm not being dramatic, that is really how it felt. And then I started having like nerve pain in my eyes. So whenever I would move my eyes left or right, I was feeling pain, and it was just in my right eye. About, 3 or 4 days later, I didn't have full vision in my right eye. And so I was like, what's going on? I wasn't really scared. I was more just like confused. What was happening. I thought maybe I was getting COVID or like some flu or something, because those were like, I guess that's what I was feeling. Like I had a headache, so I thought maybe it was a big head cold or something. But then I called one of my friends who is an optometrist. I told her what was going on, and she was like, you know, I'm really concerned. I have an idea of what it could be, but I don't want to scare you. And then I was like, hey, look, I'm not going to be scared. Just let me know at the end of the day, like, whatever's going on with me, I'm gonna have to face it at one point or the other, and I rather know and deal with it. You know, I'm not gonna be in denial, so it is what it is, right? So she said, it sounds like it could be MS. And at that point I was like, okay. I still wasn't really scared, you know. I try to take everything with a grain of salt. So it was just kind of like, okay, well, I won't really know until I go and get scans or whatever it is. So I went to an optometrist. He didn't know what was going on. I went there 2 days back to back because he wanted to do more tests. He still didn't figure out what was going on. He said there was inflammation in my optic nerve, but not too much, so he wasn't really sure. And then I got an appointment with a neuro-optometrist, or ophthalmologist, I'm sorry, and did a lot more testing and exams and all that. And he also concurred, like, he believes it could be tied to multiple sclerosis. And so from there, I was just told to kind of sit and wait. I can't honestly recall like why I was waiting, but I know that my vision, it was pretty much like, it was almost completely, I don't want to say gone, but it was almost like I felt like a very heavy shade or like darkness in my eye. And if I were to close my left eye, I couldn't really see much at all. And so that was part of the optic nerve damage that was happening, that was causing my vision to like be affected. And I remember he told me typically the treatment is steroids. You can do, or IV infusions, I'm sorry. But when I did my own research, it turns out it's not gonna prevent any damage from happening. It's only going to really help speed up your episode. So I had what's called optic neuritis. That's when the optic nerve is inflamed. So with the steroidal treatment, all it would do is kind of speed up that episode that's happening, the inflammation, and then get it to end. But whatever nerve damage has already happened, it won't reverse it. And so at that point, I was just like, we'll wait and see what's going on. And then a month went by, my vision still was no better. My mom, who lives in Florida, she has really good connections in the medical field. I went to a really well-known eye institute in Miami, and I was able to seek treatment through their ophthalmology ER, I believe. Which is cool. I never knew they had an ER for the eyes, So I was seen there. They told me I needed to do an MRI because they also suspected I had MS. And with the MRI came back that, it looked like I had MS. But from there, they didn't take enough images of the different areas of my brain that they would need to really confirm that it was MS. So it was just suspected at this point, and they said, hey, you're gonna need to get in with a neurologist and get some further imaging done. So forward to a couple of weeks, I was able to get an appointment with a very big institution where I am currently living, and I got some MRIs done with the neurology department, and they were saying, yeah, this looks very consistent with MS, but it can look a lot different from person to person, based on like relapses, symptoms, all that. And then also the other thing was that they don't want to rush to give a diagnosis. They really need time and space to confirm that that's what they are seeing. And so I was told that I need to do MRIs every 3 months. And since I think June of last year, I've been doing MRIs every 3 months, with the exception of one time where I had to go like back within 2 weeks because I had another episode. I was told that with optic neuritis linked to MS, you typically won't see a second relapse of optic neuritis within about 5 years, and I got a second episode of optic neuritis within 5 months. So that was concerning, but I still didn't want to take treatment. After they did confirm that I had MS, I was just hesitant. I wanted to see if I can, if maybe this was just a one-off incident. It was stress related. I had a lot going on in my life with raising my little one at home, working full time. I was working 60 hours a week. I was already waking up really early so that I can finish my work day middle of the day so that I can spend more time actively with my little one. So I would wake up and start work at 5 a.m., get off around 1, 2 p.m.-ish. And then I'd be with her the rest of the day. But when I was working those late hours, I'd sometimes start work at 5 a.m. and not get off until like 10 p.m., 9 p.m. So it was really, really hard on my body. It was hard on my family because, I wasn't at my best to be able to like always make sure dinner was ready at the right time or whatever. Like the house may have been a mess sometimes because we all have a lot going on, and so over the past year, there's been a lot with just like emotions, mental health, all of that for me, because it's hard knowing that I spent a lot of time, money, effort in taking care of my body and my health. I was always very active, like working out, going to the gym regularly, eating very healthy and clean. I made that a very big point for myself, and my husband is the same way. So being told that like you're not at your best even when you really thought you were, or you thought you could protect yourself from something like this from happening, it really does take a toll on you mentally and emotionally. And so in the beginning, I didn't really let it affect me as much because I was more so in denial, or I just thought like, no, I'm gonna be healed, I'm gonna be fine. One thing with multiple sclerosis is that they say there's no cure. And so once you're diagnosed, you pretty much have it for life. And there's a heavy push on treatment, on medication to be able to manage your symptoms. But as I said, because there's no cure, it only can help you to a degree. But there are people who their MS progresses really quickly, and it can affect, their continence. It can affect their mobility. Some are in wheelchairs, some have canes, some are just fine and you'll never know there's anything wrong with them, on the outside at least. And so like it varies from person to person, and that's the scary part about it, because there's no like one track. Like you're not going to be able to really know how that's going to look for you down the road. So that could be scary. And also just feeling like any little day that, or anything that you notice that feels off, you're like, oh, is this MS? Like, is this another relapse happening? You know, it kind of keeps you on edge and like on your toes and always questioning yourself and just your health, you know, in general. So it's hard. It's been emotionally and mentally taxing for me, and like I've just been very fatigued. It's really affected me. Sometimes I literally just feel like I want to lay in bed all day, and I know I can't do that, but it's hard. It makes things so much more difficult for me. And you know, just feeling like I want to do more and I know I'm capable of more, but in reality it's like I don't have the energy, you know. That's really hard, especially being so young. I'm only 27, and getting a diagnosis like this and like going through this, it's been very challenging, because I always viewed myself as like very strong or just capable, you know. One thing that I've experienced with this is forgetfulness, and I know that's a common thing a lot of people with MS say that they experience. And it's like I can be walking to the kitchen and literally forget why I'm going to the kitchen and forget what I was going to the kitchen for. And it's like crazy. It's just like there's so many times where I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing this, and then like in an instant I completely forget it, and it's very challenging to deal with. Another thing is like I get like nerve pain randomly, or like muscle spasms, or like it's like kind of like stiffness. I would say stiffness, yeah, in my nerves or my muscles. My camera died, so I had to switch to my other camera. I was gonna mention, what was I gonna mention? See, classic example. I just gave you an example of how I forget things. For a very long time, I would blame it on like mom brain, because I know that's a real thing, but I feel like it's double for me. Oh, my husband's right here. He's watching me record, so he's helping me out. I was gonna actually mention, I just wanted to add this in before the ending, but I was gonna mention that I actually did start treatment. For pretty much up until, what was it, June, right? I just decided to start treatment last month. So it's been literally a year that I was delaying treatment. I was like, no, I'll be fine. Like, I don't need it. And then I started seeing a holistic, she's called a functional medicine doctor, but it's more on the holistic side. I started seeing her. She did a very extremely thorough examination of me. And based on like my history and just how many relapses I've had in the past year and how quickly the multiple sclerosis has been progressing, she recommended that I do start treatment in addition to her diet plan and supplements. And so that was like a wake-up call for me, because I was like, no, like I can go to this doctor, I don't need to take treatment, I'll be fine. But she was like, I normally don't recommend treatment for patients with MS that I see who don't want to take treatment, but because of how quickly yours has been progressing and how young you are, I really suggest that you start treatment. And obviously in conjunction with everything else that she's recommending me to do. But it was kind of like a disappointment. It was actually really disappointing to me. I felt like giving up in a sense. I felt like I feel lost sometimes, because it's like, you know, I go to my primary care doctor and she's like, your labs are perfect, everything's great, all these things, you know, everything came back, all my levels perfect, but then I'm dealing with this. And she literally, my primary care doctor said to me, you're perfectly healthy, you know, besides your MS that you're dealing with. And it's just like hearing stuff like that, it can be very confusing, and as I said, make you kind of feel lost. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's on top of the fact that you already feel confused, you know, having MS, because, you know, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but like in those MRI scans, you know, I have lesions in my brain, and now my last MRI showed I had even more lesions in my brain and a lesion in my spine, which is cause for concern, because when you have lesions in your spine, it can affect your mobility, your incontinence, things like that. And so it was just it's been hard. It's been really hard. I have days where I'm like, I'm on top of the world, I'm good, I can conquer anything. And there's days where I'm like, why am I even here? Like, why am I going through this? And it makes me I feel guilty, because it's like I know there are people out there who are in way worse situations than me and have worse circumstances, but yet it doesn't negate like what I'm going through and how hard I feel like I do have it. And I know people have it harder, but I guess I'm just sharing my thoughts, so that maybe some of you who might be experiencing MS can relate. I just want you guys to know that if you're struggling with multiple sclerosis, if you're a recent diagnosee, you're not alone. I get it. I may not be sharing all the same symptoms, but I know it's hard, and we can start a community here on YouTube. So maybe I can do like other videos on multiple sclerosis to help those of you that have experience with multiple sclerosis or know someone who's going through this. I just really wanted to make this video as like a reintroduction, I guess, to my channel, and letting you guys know that I'm back and why I've been gone for so long, and just like a little life update. But I do, like I said, my channel is going to be the same. It's going to be like home decor, dupes, all of that. But I do want to incorporate some videos on multiple sclerosis here and there, because I feel like it can help a lot of people that are going through it, especially like people who may be younger like I am, because it's hard, especially, you know, when you don't know anyone personally that's experiencing it. So that's kind of what I'm feeling called and like led to do. So if you've gotten this far in this video, I know it's been a mouthful. I just wanted to really let you guys know what I've been going through. And as I said, I'm back here on YouTube, so I'm looking forward to like just really building my community here with you all and pushing through. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.